Oh, okay.
Good question.
Tell a joke, Jeff. Tell a joke.
I'm a terrible joke teller.
I heard there was a CD that Dolly has dedicated to all the funds that are raised from that CD go to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Do we know which CD that is? Which of her?
Maybe.
She does have a CD. David's probably the best to talk about this one. She does have a CD, children's songs. And where those children's songs came from is tomorrow when we go over to the Playhouse at Dollywood. Dave, you want to talk about the question was about the CD. We're going to bring David up to speed real quick. Jump right into the session, but in the meantime, while we're waiting for you, there's a question about the.
And who are you?
I'm at the Dollywood Foundation Homecomin.
You are famous people. Okay, got it. Okay, I got you. Sorry, walking in the middle of it. So the question was about the children's CD, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so had all the songs, made a CD, waiting. We sold a few last time as a special bonus, and then Dolly ripped off 2 albums, 2 movies, and we didn't want the CD to get stepped on, and because everything else that was going on, and she didn't. So this was the year, and then she says, I got 3 more songs I want to add to it. So at the same time, Amazon contacted me, and we started negotiating a deal where they would be the distributor of the songs, and it would be repackage everything. So that's where we are right now. I think it'll be by the end of the year. It should be ready, and in whatever way we go with the distribution. But all of the money from that does go to the Dollywood Foundation, whatever deal we cut. What happens in the old days of selling CDs is you obviously received a percentage of each sale. In the world of streaming, you usually pay you negotiate a big upfront deal, and then they stream it for free because they want to stream the music for free. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Right. So I think it's going to be, I haven't heard the 3 new songs yet, but I'm sure they're great. I know the titles and what they're about. So it'll end up being 15 songs plus her reading I Am a Rainbow.
Awesome.
And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the other 4,990 songs that I have. So recently I saw where UT's switched from Adidas to Nike, and they'd already made all these special smoky gray Adidas uniforms, and they showed up on a football team in Israel. Right? So our CDs are going to be in Kiev, with all the children in preschool in Kiev.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is there another question? Was that it?
We were just going to sort of launch into the group.
So what we thought we'd do is give you an opportunity to, I know you've met everybody individually, this is, in all of its glory, the Dollywood Foundation, and all of the hard work. That was awfully sweet and well-deserved, too. And so, there's a lot of, obviously, people know certain people in the foundation because of your RD or whatever, so we thought it would be a nice time just to spend, if we don't spend the whole time, that's fine, to ask any kind of questions about anything, which is a very dangerous way to open it up, but and give everybody a chance to start off just by introducing themselves, or I think, Sam, you said you're going to introduce your team because Sherry and Kathy don't want to go, is that right? And describe very briefly their role, so you have all the role definitions. So, Dan, why don't we start with you and work our way down.
Hello, my name is Jan Smitchuk, and I am the Regional Director for Ontario in Canada. I live just outside of Toronto. I just, as a regional director, as all of us will say, is that we're here to support and help start up affiliates and also help with funding and connecting with grants. Just a little bit of background about Canada, just to give you some perspective. Canada has about 36 million people in Canada. That's about the same population as California, if you're, and about 87% of the population lives within 100 miles of the US border. So we've got lots and lots of land above that nobody, or some small communities get to, and we'll ship books way up north. So anyway, that's just a little bit of a background.
Thank you.
And actually, why don't we jump, Helen, to Karen, since we'll stay on Canada for a minute.
Good afternoon, my name is Karen Davis. I'm the Regional Director for Manitoba, and thanks for some of that information, Jan. That is true. In my province, Manitoba, we work with a lot of, I guess it would be considered Native American reservations, as well as we have a population called the Métis. But our books are delivered by boat, by skidoo, and we're talking about people living in isolated communities where there's nothing but maybe a school if they're lucky and a store, and the local store doesn't sell books. And at that local store, a case of a 24 bottle case of water is over $90. So if the parents even had the opportunity to buy books, they wouldn't be able to because they're living on bottled water, because we have water advisories. But I'm very fortunate to belong to this wonderful team. I love the work I do, and it's just an incredible homecoming. As we see people register, everyone's hugging and, saying, oh, it's been a long 2 years. And so it's a fabulous event. It is an imagination library of love, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Helen Hassel. I've been working for the Dollywood Foundation for 8 weeks. And I think
She's killing it already.
and I think I'm really lucky to have had Homecoming coming up so soon, to be able to meet my colleagues properly and to meet so many inspiring affiliates. I have to admit, I've been involved with the Imagination Library myself since 2011 as an affiliate for a very small village in England called Lambourne, and I've got 215 children signed up in my community. So I really understand a lot of the issues and the problems that the affiliates that I now look after as a regional director experience. And I'm really honoured to be part of this amazing organisation and for meeting you all this week.
Thank you.
Hi, and thank you. My name is Angie Harris, and I've really loved meeting a lot of you this week, so thank you so much for your time and for coming. I'm the Director of International Programs. I've been with the Imagination Library for 2 years and 2 months, and my job here is to manage and support the affiliates and our staff with our international programs, so Canada and the UK. And we have programs in Australia as well. And this year, unfortunately, we don't have any of our Australia team here, but we are interested in scaling up the programs in those countries, just as we are in the United States. So thank you so much for coming.
I promise I didn't jump line. They don't want to talk. So. But I would not be above jumping line. I'm Christy Krause. I'm one of the regional directors. And my region, people will say, well, what, are you based in New York? Are you based here? I'm like, no, I have 22 states. So, and I look at that as a blessing. I truly feel that God led me to this position. I've always worked in nonprofit work. And I jokingly say that David finally said, if you'll please stop calling this office, we'll give you a job. Because I was working for a very small nonprofit in Tennessee, and a board member came and said, you have got to hear about this program. It's Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and it provides free books to children. And I'm like, that just sounds too, like you guys, that's too good to be true. And so I did my research, and I truly fell in love with it, and connected with David, and that was 2004, and about 40 pounds and so many years ago, and so many wrinkles and gray hairs, but it's been such a blessing. And I was there during the day when we faxed the Excel spreadsheets. So I'm one of the old timers that's seeing the progression, and I just absolutely love what I do, and I love going out to your communities and working with you, and just knowing that the world truly isn't going to hell in a handbasket, because I see such wonderful kindred spirits in all of you.
I also am one of the USA Regional Directors. My name is Pam Hunsaker. I've been with the Imagination Library for 16 years, and this truly is not a job, this is a blessing. I am so blessed to know all of you and to do the really great work that we all do together. I live in Columbia, Missouri. My region is 26 states, and so I'm gone a lot, but I hope I'm responsive to you. If you need something, hopefully all my little chicks know how to get a hold of me. I'm the mother hen of the group, and if you need anything, I'm here to support you. I thank you for everything you do for the kids that we work with, that we serve. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Christine Watson. I'm another regional director from the UK. I am from Scotland. So firstly I want to say I was so chuffed to see a kilt last night at Smoky Mountain Adventures. I was cheering to Mercy, yay! He was doing it for Scotland and I was cheering him on in a laldy sun. I am delighted to be here. This is my second homecoming. The first time I've been here at DreamMore. Just to give you a bit of perspective, we have got 34,000 children enrolled from the Shetland Islands in Scotland right down to the southeast coast of England and Hastings, over to Belfast and Northern Ireland. So some books go by boat to a couple of kids into the Shetlands, looked after children, right down to, like I say, Hastings and over to Belfast. And we're growing, and there's interest in Wales. And now that we've got Helen on board as well, who has experience in Wales, we're hoping to get in there quite soon. It's been so lovely to meet you all. I've even got a distant relative here who has been visiting where my dad was born in the 80s. So I've had some wonderful conversations and learned some amazing things, and I'm so delighted to be here with you all and to hear about your great practice, which I'm going to take back with me to the UK and share with our affiliates. So thank you so much. It's been lovely meeting you all.
And I am Sam Roberts. I'm the Director of Operations for the Dollywood Foundation, and I've been with the foundation in this role for about 4 years now. Before that, I worked with SD Professionals, which you heard from this morning. So I worked behind the scenes and kind of a support role directly with them for that time in between. So I oversee the planning for the book selection process, coordinate all that in all of our countries, and then I work with Penguin to make sure the books are produced to the standards we need them, give them the projections 6 months out on what we think we'll need. And then I work with the fulfillment centers on the monthly processing of all the books, if there's, and then any problems and any of those things that come up in between. And then I have and this is my 6th homecoming, I think. I was counting back this morning. So that's exciting to see how much it's grown over the years. And I have a wonderful team that's all based here in Pigeon Forge at our office, and I'll introduce them quickly. But Sherry French, who you hear from monthly by email. Since 2004, so this is her 13th year with the Dollywood Foundation. So she knows she's responsible for all the finances in and out. She's our direct contact for the audits that happen in every country every year. Gosh, she does so much on a daily basis that the foundation couldn't do it without her. So, and she also has a wonderful new grandbaby who just started crawling today. So that was exciting.
Or he enrolled in
We did send her with a box full of books from our office on our first trip over to North Carolina. So we also have Kathy Brown, who many of you may have talked with or seen. Kathy started with the foundation in May of of last year, so she's fairly new to the foundation. She's kind of an operations support coordinator, so she mails all the promo items that are ordered through the website out. She works with Sevier County database and with our returns that come back in, contacting them to try to get updated addresses. She opens all of the Dolly Parton fan mail, which is entertaining. Yeah. Interesting is another. Yeah, sad. But Kathy is also at our front desk, so she's kind of the face of the foundation in our office, and answering the main line and anything in between. She also has a wicked sense of humor who makes everyone in our office laugh every single day. So that's nice. So we're glad to have Kathy. She worked previously with Dollywood when Dollywood first opened back in 1986 for about 10 years. So she's new to the foundation, but not new to the Dollywood family. And I also have Jane Lambert, who is our newest person in the operations team. Jane started with the foundation in August of last year. She replaced Kate Phillips, who went on to pursue her music career, who many of you know from the previous Homecomings. Jane worked with Dollywood for 20 years in various capacities, and she's our affiliate relations manager, so she works closely with the regional directors to set up new affiliates in our system, get them started, enrolling kids. She also updates the statuses as they change month to month, maintains our operations manual, and most importantly this week she plans the homecoming event, which this was not only being a new employee, but this is her very first homecoming. So I think she did an incredible job this week. Operations team.
Hello, I'm Jeff Conyers. I am the Executive Director of Dollywood Foundation, working primarily in the U.S. So I do a lot of work with Christy and Pam, our U.S.-based team. I have a funny story about my first involvement with the Imagination Library. Quite a few years ago, I used to work for a former governor in Tennessee, and I worked with him on the campaign before he won and he became governor. And I remember I used to drive us around. That was my job on the campaign. I would drive us around all over the state, make sure we stayed on time and knew who we were supposed to know. And I will never forget the day that, his name was Phil Bredesen, our former governor. I'll never forget the day that we were introduced to the Imagination Library. And Phil Bredesen, for those of you who don't know, is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. He was an astrophysicist, went to Harvard, was actually from upstate New York, and was two-term mayor of Nashville and two-term mayor of governor, and was introduced to the Imagination Library and had this epiphany moment on his face of, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of this? And actually, a guy named Byron Trager got in touch with David Dodson and had a conversation with David and said, hey, Phil Bredesen would like to work this into his gubernatorial platform, and if he gets elected as governor of Tennessee, would like to launch the Imagination Library across the state. Is that okay with you and Dolly? I mean, it's a political thing. So he did, and he won. And in 2002, he took office. I stayed on with him doing travel in advance. So again, traveled with him daily, oversaw the schedule, his health, etc. And in 2004, we were ready to launch the Imagination Library in Tennessee. And I came to Pigeon Forge and met David officially for the first time because I was advancing Phil's trip up here to do the official kickoff of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library in Tennessee. And went on some years later to be the president of the Governor's Books from Birth Foundation, which Theresa Carl now is leading, and really got to know the Imagination Library family and got to know the program so much more better than I ever did. And in the meantime, at sort of the end of my tenure at the Governor's Books from Birth Foundation and joining the Imagination Library, I had 2 kids of my own. So I had worked with the Imagination Library for quite some time. And now I often tell people I have my own little test kit at home. So we have the books and we read, and it's been an amazing experience as someone who worked with the program before having kids, and then working with the program having kids, and seeing and learning from all of you all, and reading to my kids, and watching them light up, watching the doors open. Sorry. Having a hard time talking about my kids. It's been an incredible experience, an emotional experience a lot of times. But I get to work, as you well see, I work with an amazing team of people, and I'm a grateful man. Thank you all very much.
Backstory of the visit, though, for a Governor Bredesen, which I thought you were going to say. You may not have known this, actually, but so Governor Bredesen was coming, Dolly was there, and Barney was coming too. And we were going to do all these things just to kick it off. We had kids and this whole thing. So Paul Couch, who is the director of entertainment at Dollywood, and Jane worked for Paul, and he's moved on to another job in Nashville after many years, and he's a good friend and a co-conspirator on many things. We were planning the event, as we usually do. We write the events and the scripts and all this kind of stuff. And so Paula and I were like, hey, we'll get everybody to sing Puff the Magic Dragon. That'll be perfect, you know? So we talked to someone else on Governor Bredesen's staff and said, hey, yeah, we got to figure it out. Then we're going to come in, all the kids are going to sing Puff the Magic Dragon. We're going to have a great time. There's silence. And the person said from the governor's office, that song's about marijuana use. And we go, oh, come on. I mean, some people say that. It's about a dragon. No one really cares. So there's more signs. If you sing that song, he's not coming. So then we had to go and rewrite the whole thing, you know, overnight, right? And, but it all worked out great. And Barney was smoking marijuana, but Barney was cool. He was. You never met Barney. Has anybody here met Barney with your own kid? Well, hope you. Oh, okay, there's one. Yeah, he's big. He walked out on stage and about 10 kids ran for the door. So I'm sure you've heard enough of me, but I've been here since the beginning. 18 years, I guess, 19 years. So it's been. You know, obviously a great experience to go from, you know, 1,000 or so kids and our own little program and mailing golden books to 1.1 million. It's been an amazing journey, and you know, I think I've done a few good things, but the best certainly is I've been involved in hiring every one of these people. I can honestly say that none of them would hire me. And I well, not with everybody, but I traveled with most everybody, especially at the beginning with these two. Yeah, we went all over the place together. That's right, yeah. We do have lots of stories, that's for sure. Christy and I have probably one of the more telling stories, and then we can get to answer questions. But it's people guys like, what's it? You know, like people usually say, what's Dolly like? But I like what Christy Krause and Pam Hunsaker are like. We were in Charleston, West Virginia. We drove up there at night. Are you here? Yeah, Robin. So we're in Charleston, and we come up to this hotel, and it's late. It's winter, so it's dark early. You know, there's a parking garage. So I tell Christy, I'll drop you off at the hotel. I'll go park the car. So she goes, that's fine. So she walks in there, and I go in the parking. There's not one soul in this parking garage except for me. And she'd grabbed her stuff. So when I get the stuff, it was really cold, and she had taken my coat, and so her coat was in it. Right?
This is a nice tweed. It wasn't like a pink.
So I thought, well, no one's around. I'll just wear her coat. So I put on her coat, and grab my bag, and I'm walking, and I see this guy coming straight up. And I'm thinking, this guy looks like he's a little weird, you know? And then as he's coming out, he's looking at me. I think this guy's definitely weird. And he's got his hand in his pocket. This is all true. I'm thinking, he's going to pull a gun on me. I'm going to get robbed. And all this thoughts like, I'm going to get shot with a woman's coat on in Charleston, West Virginia. And at that very moment, another car pulls into the parking garage and the lights hit the guy and he looks at me and he runs. So I'm getting in there and go, telling her like, you wouldn't believe what just happened. I still have that coat, I wear it. Okay, enough of that nonsense. So, we had a little time. We wanted to make sure, first of all, that everybody was introduced, but, you know, now anything, you want to share a story, you know, work-related, you want to ask a question on any function, job clarification, about anything. Next 15, 20 minutes, we can do it. If there's not, then that's cool too.
Christy has 22 states and she has 26. That was my
Jeff.
question.
I know, my math isn't great, but 22 plus 26 is 48. What happened to the other two states?
Jeff.
Oh, Canada and Hawaii.
No. Christy has Kentucky, not
Kentucky. Alaska and Hawaii.
when we saw how that happened was that when it was just the three of us, they took that. I took Alaska and Hawaii too because it's Alaska and Hawaii. Executive privilege. So I handed those off to him. So that's what happened. Yeah. And all the programs in Alaska, no, not in Hawaii, failed while he was there. Only kidding, only kidding. Yes.
This is more for you, Jane. It's not a criticism, it's an observation. Futurely, we need the state at least put on our name badges.
We got that, yes.
Okay. We would like to see that because then you're not always asking. And would it be possible for us to have a list of attendees?
Yes, we'll get that.
I'll add in the follow-up survey that we'll do after the conference, probably next week. We'll do an email survey just about the event itself, but we'll include a link to the knowledge-based article that has the presentations and also the contact list.
Yeah, someone asked me earlier about a evaluation, and that's what after is going to be a link for you to evaluate online so we can pull the, it's easier than paper. Imagine. Other question, any quicker?
I saw information out there about Rotary International or Rotary, but I haven't heard anything about what's going on with them. Do we have a national relationship or international relationship with them? Possible funding?
Yeah, we do. The short answer is we have an international partnership agreement with Rotary, and back early on, our two main targets to try to grow the Imagination Library were through Rotary and United Way. Not exclusively, but we felt like if we could move through their networks, we could get a lot of action, really, and replication. Down there. So what's happened with that is basically the relationship gives us access. So we're able to speak at district meetings, international meetings, have booths, you know, at all the conventions, be speakers. So it lets us speak to Rotaries and a lot of Rotarians in a lot of different ways. And we have a lot of Rotary involvement, but it really has boiled down to community by community partnerships. Some Rotaries are very strong, some is non-existent, some Rotaries fund it, operate it, some are a partner. I'm sure here there's many communities that have Rotary involved one way or the other, right? Yeah, so that it kind of runs the whole continuum of possibilities. But they've been a wonderful, wonderful partner. As a matter of fact, another great story was at the international meeting in Montreal. When we announced this partnership, Dolly went up and performed and spoke, and so I was there, of course, and they and a man named John Germ, who is just their outgoing international president, is from Chattanooga, and he was the sort of assistant to the new international president for that year named Wilf Wilkinson from Canada. And so when Dolly came out, John was the host, and he had told me that before, we're always doing our jobs like, I've got something I'm going to give her, and I was like, what are you going to give her? He goes, well, it's going to be a pen. I thought, okay, he's just going to give her a pen, right? So she comes out there, he goes, made his whole speech, and so now Dolly, we're going to, I think it was a Paul Harris fellow pen, and he got it, and then it suddenly dawned on him that he was supposed to pin it on her, and the look of horror on that man's face. And as typical, Dolly took a step back and said, don't do that, because if you do it wrong, I'm going to fly around here like a balloon. So she never was pinned again.
Speaking of the famous, when will we ever get to meet her or see her?
Well, yeah, she really had hoped to be here this time to make an appearance. It actually was real close to doing it for tomorrow, but she's been out in Los Angeles for a long time, longer than usual, and this particular time, what she thought she was going to do was be going to New York and then coming by, and then can't go into all the specifics, but all these plans changed and she wasn't going to be there, so she couldn't make it this time. But there will be a time, and she has come here many times for Homecoming and others, but unfortunately didn't work out.
This is our 10th, this is West Virginia's 10th anniversary this year. And we have gone from here to here, back down. It's just like a roller coaster. But a lot of times, I don't think that this staff gets enough credit. Christy has 22 states, and I'm this little pea-sized state in the United States, and I'm going to cry like you.
Just let it out. It feels good.
She has been with me through thick and thin, and change of administration. We texted 10 o'clock at night.
That's all?
And if I call and say, there's an important meeting next Friday on the 30th, she'll be there if I need her. And I'm so appreciative.
Gotta give her
And I love you. Thank you for what you do.
Hi, I'm Dr. Phil, and
I don't have a question, but I have a thank you. I called to reserve our rooms here, and I was a little bit apprehensive about what the rooms might cost. And the young lady told me the rate, and I said, oh, I'm so grateful. And she said, this sweet young lady said, well, just thank Miss Dolly. So I will leave our thanks behind for all this wonderful group and for Miss Dolly.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to get the middle and the back involved.
Well, I'm going to sneak in one admin suggestion or comment while also singling out one person. I have wonderful conversations and great times with Jeff and Christy and all that. But the one person that I talk to and communicate with the most every single month is Sherry. And she doesn't even know who I am. And yet every month with not only with all those individual invoice emails, which is the question that I suggest that is there a way at some point to condense and not have a single email for every single county?
Yes.
There is? Because we get individual emails for each invoice. So if you got 15 counties you got to open up, it's 15 different invoices and then a printout. So if there's a way to, where are you? South Carolina, Charleston. Hey Sherry, it's Jeff.
Jeffrey? No!
software, to pull a report, but as far as the way the invoicing, when I do the monthly process each month, because we are a small staff, we've streamlined it so that it's automated. So when it generates the mailing list, it also generates an invoice for each individual affiliate in our system. So that's why it creates an invoice for each one.
Well,
That's why we send it.
And the suggestion is if you're ever able to do it on a group level, it's made it easier for you, but we still have to go in one at a time and print out each one. I don't have a way to group them when I receive them and print them.
Yeah. We could do a report that would show you a snapshot of all yours, because the way it is in QuickBooks, there's a customer, which is, and then each affiliate in a group is a job in QuickBooks. So there's
And the only thing I want to say about Cherry is that she single-handedly shows the feeling and the positiveness and the kindness of the foundation. She's the one that I get that feeling from regularly, every month. But
We have to be, because we get that from her every day.
So I was just curious if you've ever thought about this as a possible way to fund in different areas, but I think that there are a lot of families like mine who, if they had a chance to sponsor books, sponsor another family and books, and that were a way to give money to a cause and know that a child who wouldn't otherwise have a lot of books in their home could get books every month from birth to 5 years through a $25 donation or a little more. A lot of people would like to do that, and I think I would love to see it done for Reach Out and Read too, where you could sponsor someone. So anyway, just wondered if it had ever occurred to anyone to try to facilitate that sort of giving process.
I was going to say there's a lot of communities that do that, and a lot of variety of ways. Who said you want to? Yeah, you want to? Oh, okay. Here you go.
We do that in Hart County. We let people know that if they want to make a donation in memory of someone, in honor of someone, then they could send a check to us and they give us the information, and we send a note to the family, if it's someone who's passed on, that a donation was made in their loved one's memory. Or we do a birthday, so we gave a donation in your honor for your birthday. I have someone who gives us a check at Christmas for 10 people, and I send out 10 notices that this gift was made. So there are ways of doing it. You just have to make it be known in a little ad in the newspaper or something like that.
It's usually could be a part of your individual donor strategy, but that's a nice way to position it and frame it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get do a lot of memorials and such. Baby showers. And where's Christy from Lenore? Is she in here? She told me today that she hands out registrations with Halloween candy. I never heard that. Isn't that a great idea? So it's like, I thought I'd heard it all.
Well, I am from the state of Kentucky. I'm sorry, the country of Kentucky. Christy is over. She is our queen of the state. We're very thankful to have her and all the staff as well. Just a real quick story to share too about someone that called into our office who they had registered their child. And I'm sure some of you get them before they're born. They tried to register them before that. We had a lady that registered, and we called back to find out the birth date has not happened yet. And she said, "Oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm at 8 centimeters." And I thought, I'm just going to go to the hospital. that was kind of a story for us. That's really but I also want to thank Miss Jane. Miss Jane has been very helpful recently in some of the transitions that we do. We're trying to do some group stuff. So again, being very helpful. I do get constant reminders very gently that sometimes I just need to read my manual. I tell you that I'm old and I forget what it says. So that's not for you, Miss Jane, but thank you. But I do have a question as well. I know that yesterday there was a caution from Dr. Goins about the kindergarten readiness connections with Imagination Library, that we need to be very cautious. But today's presentations have made those direct correlations, and we wanted to make sure, because I know our state, that's what they're looking for as far as a quantitative measure, and wanted to get more of a take from you all of how we might address that on a more systematic basis.
Jeff, you want to take first stab at it?
Yeah, I think yesterday, I've talked with Joseph and Cheryl Lemke about this a lot, and I think their cautionary note in there, Keith, was that a lot of people, when they think about launching the Imagination Library in their community, they have in the back of their mind impacting kindergarten readiness, and there's some distance to travel there, particularly if you're going to measure that. There's some sophistication that goes along with that. That said, as I said yesterday, it's very doable. And so in terms of the question that you had about systematically tackling or going after kindergarten readiness, tell me a little bit more about what you were asking.
Just that we've got people in our state government, that's what they're wanting to make the connections in order to think about support.
Right.
Is that what is that impact with that kindergarten readiness? And so we were looking at our studies to look at our dance scores. But then after hearing it yesterday, I thought, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. So I just want to make sure we're not doing anything that would jeopardize the whole as a whole. I understand that there was that distal piece, but I just kind of wanted to get a take from how we might, balance what we heard yesterday versus today.
Not at all. Not at all. I think if you guys are right on the money, and I would encourage you to do that, especially if you have the resources to look at kindergarten readiness in your community. I think the point yesterday was that not everyone does. And as you look at measuring the Imagination Library in your community and the resources available to you, there are measurement points along the way that matter.
I think he was trying to get around the kindergarten scores don't have to be the destination. You have to work within what you have. Yeah. So,
We're a new affiliate from Cleveland, Ohio, and one of the questions my team and I have been asking everybody who will listen to us or talk to us is, how are you dealing with your post office and getting, undeliverable books back? And there seems to be a mixed bag. Some communities, they've got a great relationship. The post office will deliver the undelivered books to them. Others will hold them and allow them to pick them up. Others are just dead set. They're going to charge you to get them back. And so I don't know if there's any opportunity for strength in numbers. If you all have lobbyists that we can somehow get to a national level, it's ridiculous to me that they want to destroy books, spend our public tax dollars to send books away to get destroyed.
Well, we'll have to talk later about it in terms of the history. Over like a keg. Because I've lived a very charmed life, and the only chronic source of pain in my life is the United States Post Office. So very briefly, here's, and not if you know the story, but I'll tell you the story, then I'll tell you I need to talk. When we started out, so many years ago, the post office as a system, locally, nationally, was pleased as punch to hold the books and have us come get them for free. And that went on for years, right? And then one day, and literally one day, and in some post offices, there was a little bit, I won't quote this section, but if you needed to hang your hat on some rags, there was a little rag that you could hang your hat, which didn't quite say they could do that, but it was something for your to the pen, people who needed something that they could quote it. And then unfortunately what happened is in our state, right, the birthplace of Imagination Library, there was some rhetoric and some we got to stop doing this directive from up high. Many ignored it, right? Our state the post office went after us on it, you know, and so we enlisted the help of the First Lady, of Congress people. We met with the post office. We struggled with them for a 6-month period of time, and it's got to be easier to deal with Russia than to deal with because we came into a complete standstill, and we were throwing everything at you. Like, same thing. Why would you do this? It saves you money to give the books back. And besides the emotional thing, we asked for a study to prove that it would save money to do it. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't. And what we found out, even at a senatorial level, Senator Alexander was like, "Oh, I don't want to go meet with them." You know, like people were afraid of it. You know, so what it boiled down to, we ended up at a place where, you know, to get them back, you had to do the return service request, the address service request, and even then, right? They said, "Well, here's the quotes of what it costs to get the books back plus first-rate postage mail." But then you go around the country and people have all kinds of deals with the local post office. 50 cents, we'll do it for free, I mean, it's an insane system. So it really boils down to who you have locally and if they're afraid of their boss or not. That's what it amounts to. Yeah, we tried that. God, heck. I was going to give them Dolly Parton to do national promotional work, right? I said, you paid for the U.S. team and the tour to Lance Armstrong, for God's sakes. You know, you want to have Dolly Parton? And they said, like, who's Dolly Parton?
I'm Tammy from Cherokee County, First Steps in South Carolina. You were talking a little bit about some research type stuff and getting into the school district and everything. We started a new program in our state. It actually started in our county, but we've got a lot of different partners that are involved, including our school district. And we call it Talk to Me. And we have partnered with the Lena Research Foundation, and they have like a talk meter that measures the interactions where the parents are reading the books and that kind of stuff. And we have home visitors who go into the homes and meet with the parents and kind of teach them how to read to their children. There's a curriculum involved and everything. And, we're just starting in it. It's been very interesting. We're also partnering with VersaMe, which is another foundation, and they have the Starlink device. It's not quite as detailed yet as the Lena device. And Lena has multiple devices. We're using home. Our school district is actually working with some older kids, and they're going to use the Lena Start and do some groups. But you guys can check into them. We got our state, not our individual county, but our state to kick in $5,000 because they're not extremely cheap, but it's a measured progress that these people go into the homes, they have the devices, they have like a little vest, and then there's a dashboard that you can access that gives you a lot of information that you can carry to the funders that you're looking at or looking for.
Dorothy is normally with me, and she's not here at the moment, but she can give you a lot more information about it.
Dorothy just lost her job. Congratulations. You're in charge.
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm with Knox County, Knoxville, so I'm just across the way. And I just wanted to mention two things. Last year was my first homecoming, and I just wanted to encourage everyone, when you can, get a chance to talk to other people, talk to other programs, because it's like someone said in their presentation, it's in the hallways, it's when you go out to dinner that you're going to talk to people and come up with really great ideas, and oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that? Why haven't we been doing that? 2 years ago at the last homecoming, one evening I was with the Shelby County folks from Memphis, and we were talking, and they said, well, are you free for dinner tonight? And I said, yeah, I'm free for dinner. So we went to the Peddler in Gatlinburg, and we're just, having a nice dinner and just talking about our program. And we put two connections together, and this ties into another comment about harnessing sponsorships and donations from parents and people that are giving back. So over dinner, they had an idea to start a Little Red Caboose Club, which was basically a graduate give back program. And they were like, we really want to start this program, but we don't have a graphic designer. We don't know where to start. We've got this logo in mind. And I'm like, well, I've got a graphic designer at the library. And, so over dinner, we put together this graduate give back program that, a couple of glasses of wine later and we've got a nice program. This is a great idea, so we went back to the library. And so together with Shelby County and Knox County, we came up with the Little Red Caboose Club. That's a graduate give back program. And if there's anyone that is a better ambassador for the program, it's a parent that has been through that program, that has gotten a full library of books. They know about the program. So, they are the ones, they are your ambassadors. Now, a step further, we've gone, I guess this is 2 years down the road with the program, we've also realized that the people that give back are the parents that have been in the program for 3 years or more. Those are the ones that see the value in the program, that give back to the program. So, and I'm happy to share with anybody about it, but we've got a card magnet, we've got a letter that goes out, we've got an email that goes out, and we get a really great response from the parents, and because they know the program, they know the value, they've been in it, so that was just my 2 comments, a way to harness the graduates in the program that know the program and know that they can sponsor another child and give back, and that's basically what ours is a give back program. And then use the time together and meet with other programs and talk with them and see what you can come up with, because we've all got great ideas. So that's my 2 cents.
You have to be way back there, don't you? No.
Hi, Angie Walsh from Houma, Louisiana. Yes, we are being flooded kind of right now with the tropical storm from Terrebonne Parish. My question is about the age categories. You have group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6. I'm so confused. And I know I'm not the only one because I've asked.
We know all about it.
Yes, so group 1 are children born in this year. So children born in 2017 are in group 1 to start out with. Group 2 are children
closer to your mouth.
Group 2 are children who are born in 2016. And then, consecutive years.
But group 1 is always your current year.
Yes.
I understand it, because I did do my research before. But like, for instance, I've had children enrolled that are born in different calendar years, and they're getting the same books. Because I'll have parents call me, say I'm getting the same books.
Yeah, every age group has a different title, and they're segmented out. So if you have a specific exam, next time you get that report,
that should happen.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. It should.
One of them's my niece and her 2 children.
Well, in those cases, if you just call us with the books and the exact book and when they got them, we can trace this all, try to figure it out. That should.
Because I've heard it a couple of times, and that's what threw me off, because I kept looking at the age groups and I'm like, no, you should be receiving blah blah blah,
Yeah, sometimes, just from previous experience, sometimes it's a data entry thing. I'm not saying that is, sometimes that happens when it's reported, that situation, but I would need either a scan or a snapshot of the book label for the 2 books that were received in that month to be able to.
And what he means by that is that the parent says, this was my birth date, but you should always first go check the database to make sure that birth date is correct. Yeah, that's the first, then do that, and then we'll write it down.
So just a question to follow up to that. I feel like the last time I was at Homecoming, you said there are times that people might get different books if there was some left from a previous title and you switched, and so there might be a reason there that the same age different books?
Yeah, different titles.
Different titles.
But it would be the same age group. For instance, if we have 10,000 left over from that same group last year, we don't want to just destroy those books or not use them because they're branded. We have to buy them essentially, no matter what. So we'll supplement group 5. 10,000 children will get this title. The remaining 190,000 will get the title that's selected for this year.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure because I've run into that situation. And
that is also, when we do have supplements in a group, it's also listed in the book order system or the books mailed, so you can see there's those 2 options.
Okay, thank you. And following up with what Danielle said, we were having lunch, a group of us, and we were talking about how it's good to have that time at lunch to get together and talk. And again, it's just a suggestion, not a criticism. But we were thinking, 2 years from now, when we all get back together, maybe if there was a way to squeeze in time to just set aside so that we can do some networking, maybe more than just out in the hall. Yeah, regional meetings, networking, something like that.
That's an easy one, yeah. Thank you.
Danielle, how often do you send your follow-up letter? Do you ever just graduate?
I have a question. Oh, okay. I have a question. Were you saying the years are based on when they are enrolled or what their birth date?
Birth year.
Birth year.
It made me wonder as you said that if that might be the confusion somehow, the birth date gets
Yeah, if it's entered
in
wrong,
wrong.
then,
Yeah, if that's the case.
Or in some cases with parents who are registering online, they'll enter it wrong.
So we are a very new program. We started, I think, right before April 1st, and first and foremost, we want to thank Pam on behalf of Siskiyou County, California, for being so incredibly responsive to us. Really is. So thank you, and thank you to all of you for this wonderful opportunity. I have a quick question about children in foster care. We've had some, we just need some clarifications. If the child is not in a relative placement, the organizations that are, the foster family organizations, don't share the family or the foster family home address, and their preference is to mail all the books to the foster family organization and then them deliver it. Can you clarify the steps?
Yeah, it's, we have, in Scotland, we have the same, every look, when Christine was referring to looked after children, that's their name of foster care, which is a better name. And but yeah, it's fine to do it that way, you know, where they can be if you want to do it. It's different than our model, obviously, but we understand the sensitivity to the addresses for the children, because many times they're in foster care because of danger. And so, like in all the ones in Scotland, do they all go to the place? Some still go right to the foster families, don't they? Yeah, but there's a couple that do that. We say just do them to our office, and then they'll distribute them. We don't like it in the sense of our model,
We don't
but
like it either, so I appreciate you saying that.
yeah, but you know, but if they're adamant about it, we don't want the kid not to get a book, because they also may know something that we don't about that, and I think we have to trust that a little bit. So.
No, I appreciate hearing you say that, because we can find other ways to make sure that those children have the books available.
Well, I mean, you're free to tell them, no, it's not allowed.
Okay.
I thought you were headed the other way. You wanted to do it, but yeah, we're giving you executive authority there. That's right.
No, that's exactly.
I'm Dean Hoskins from Tennessee, and all of our foster care children are enrolled in the Imagination Library through a partnership that helps fund that from the Verizon Foundation. But what they do is the Department of Children's Services will put the foster care family's address in the system and on the book, but delete the child's last name. So it'll just be Sam R. or Dean H. And then they feel able to release the foster family's address, because they're not really giving you information to tie that child to that address. So if you want to include those children, that's an option that the state of Tennessee is comfortable with.
Yeah, we're getting close to the switch, because we really want to make sure you have time, and then to hear Matt Dale, and I drove him from the airport, and he's a terrific guy, so be prepared for a wonderful session and book signing. But since we're talking about foster care, it was probably one of the greatest imagination library stories that we ever had, that I've ever seen, was the email that showed up one night from a guy in the UK who said that he had him and his wife had tried for years to have children and couldn't, and they decided to adopt. And so they'd gone through the process and started building a relationship with a young boy, and things started to, he was 2 or something. It moved to the point where they were ready to go and get him and bring him home. So he said when they went there to get him, because in this particular, in the UK, we were doing the program with the Looked After Children. He said he got there, he said he had nothing, he had a little bag with just a few belongings. He said, but he had another bag and it was full of books. And he was like, so he talked to the worker and said, how did he get all of these books? And there, she explained to him the Dolly Parton Imagination Library and how the books had followed him around or met him in his new home. And so he was, just like, oh, this is just amazing. So he said, the first thing they did when they brought him home was he read the book. So he said, I want you to know that our love started between me and my son over your books. Isn't that good?
Just let it out, everybody.
That's right. I had a very difficult childhood too, I wanted to tell you, by the way. My father, well, I think he was my father. I thought he was, and then one day my mother said, he's not your father. So, anyway.
There's a really good evaluation of how the Looked After Children programme works operationally across the whole of Scotland. It tells you like good practice from each area and how they do it, so we could send that to you if that would be helpful. Yeah.
So before we break, another thank you that I wanted to extend is to Matt over here, who works for us. He is diligently videotaped all of these sessions. He has to come out from behind the camera. And I really appreciate that.